So, Brett, tell me about some of the types of roofing emergencies that Master Roofers typically gets calls about, and why is it important to address them quickly?
Sure. Well, there can be a lot of different reasons and sources for those. The most typical thing that we receive emergency service calls on is leaks. Suddenly there's a lot of rain or snow melt or something along those lines, and people start seeing staining on their ceiling, maybe water or even coming down a wall, or it can even be as severe as literally, my ceiling's caving in. I have so much water, or water up in the
Mm.
attic, something like that. So the most common thing that we receive emergency needs on are water leaks coming through. Some of the other things that we do also receive, and that's both commercially and residentially.
Hmm.
Some of the other things that we see are, maybe a little more storm associated. So, for instance, people may have had a storm come through their area. They have branches that have penetrated their roof.
Mm.
Branches, or as happened to my in-laws a couple of years ago. A tree came down and hit part of their house, and
Right through the roof. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Did damage to their home and stuff. So those are, I would tell you that water leaks are the most common. Some sort of storm damage, physical damage to the property would probably be next. And I guess probably third would also be snow and ice type damage. So people having issues with snow dams, or excuse me, ice dams, or snow accumulation, or things that are associated with those. So that's still precipitation related, just a different type of precipitation.
Right. Is there a particular season when you typically get the most emergency roof repair calls? I mean, obviously the ice dams and things like that, that's going to be during the winter, but what about just general leaks?
Sure. I would tell you the spring tends to be a busy time because sometimes damage has occurred throughout the winter. And if temperatures are cold, like the stretch we've been in now, where we've stayed below freezing for quite a while, sometimes those leaks don't become evident because, quite frankly, that water that is starting to seep through and penetrate stays frozen, either in the,
Hmm.
either up in the roof itself or in the insulation, etc. So spring, once we're above freezing, a lot of those things become evident, as well as the fact that spring we tend to get more precipitation, right? April
Hmm.
showers bring May flowers. And so the volume of rain that we get, combined with the warmer temperatures, tends to lead to a lot of people finding out about an issue that may have existed before, but they hadn't been aware of, and also, making evident new leaks. So I would tell you spring is probably the leader. Um, winter is busy, but with a different type, because as we know, when water freezes, it expands, hence why it cracks rocks and stuff. Well, same thing is particularly on flat roofs and commercial roofs. Water gets into these seams as a liquid, and then it gets cold at night and it expands, and it ends up physically opening those seams more and that sort of thing. So we tend to get a lot of winter stuff that's related around ice, and it's really the ice either taking existing damage and expanding it, or causing the damage.
Okay. When is Master Roofers available to take calls about emergencies, and how quickly can you respond to them?
Sure. Obviously, it depends on the day. If we've had a major, snow event, rain event, storm event, we can be backed up a little bit. But we're available during business hours. You can call us, and if someone doesn't answer directly, if you leave a message, you'll get a call back almost immediately. And we also have a service called, it's an email address, work orders, WORKORDERS, at masterroofers.com, where you can email requests, and that's monitored by multiple team members. So we're really available 24 hours a day, not necessarily by phone at this point. But we will do service work 7 days a week, and depending on the need, even do emergency call outs. So, for instance, we've certainly had situations where someone's had that storm damage and they have, maybe quite frankly, a tree on their house, and they'll get a hold of us, and we will get a crew together to get out there and at least get that tarped off to make it weather tight until they can get a service there to do the tree removal and that sort of thing. So we try and make ourselves available per the need as often as possible. But typically, if you were to reach out to us, for instance, if you were to call me this afternoon, we would probably be there within 24 hours, depending on any given day. I may be able to make it yet today, but certainly we would do our very best to be there tomorrow.
Can you share some examples, maybe of some roof repair emergencies that you've recently handled, and how your team's expertise and quick response really made a difference for the homeowner?
Sure, I can think of a couple examples actually. The first example that comes to mind was over in the coastal areas in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and this happened to be a commercial building, but their prior roofer kind of left them high and dry. They reached out to them about a leak, and this was in a hotel property, and left them high and dry and wouldn't respond to them. So they reached out to us, formed a new relationship. We were able to go out there. We were able to find why there was a failure on their flat roof and take care of it all within 4 hours. So that was a priority response. They had water actually coming into into their building and into a couple of hotel rooms, and we were able to go out there, perform um, a good temporary repair while they now evaluate what they and then advise them on what they needed to do for a really long-term permanent repair on what was kind of a poor installation done by others. Residentially, we actually just yesterday had some folks who were reaching in to us about some wind damage. So the ridge vent and caps, which you see on a lot of houses, which allow your roof and your attic to breathe, those can sometimes be subject, especially if they're a few years old or again maybe weren't fully properly installed to blow off during storms. So during some of the recent winds that we had here in the last couple of days, we responded yesterday to someone who found suddenly a bunch of their ridge cap was, well, frankly, it was in their backyard, now leaving an open hole in the top of their roof. And we were able to respond again within a couple hours. Go there. We actually replaced that entire ridge cap again because it had been maybe not installed per manufacturer standards. We're able to reinstall that ridge cap, get matching cap shingles for that, and have that homeowner taken care of the same day that they knew about the problem. So it had blown off the evening before. We had it all done for them by mid-afternoon. So yeah, so those are things that are pretty common. And certainly, again, water leaks are something that we deal with almost on a daily basis, either due to lost shingles or a lot of times it's improper flashing. And when you get wind events like this coupled with the rain, it drives water into some of those crevices that maybe don't always see a lot of water, and then suddenly you're having water spotting in your ceiling in the guest bedroom or something like that, and it's not just coming with regular rain. So we deal with those sort of things all the time.
You brought up a good point too, with just your examples, which is that you don't necessarily have to have had your roof replaced by master roofers in order to call for an emergency, service. You're happy to go out to a customer who maybe used somebody else to do their roof, and now they're seeing problems with it, and you guys can help to fix those issues.
Absolutely, we don't like to meet friends and customers in a situation like that, but we're happy because we can help. So we don't care who put your roof on, whether it was Master Roofer or someone else. That's irrelevant. Our job in that situation is to help you get to a place where the emergency's ended, and then give you good advice on, hey, maybe it's just a repair. We come perform the repair. Your roof is good. Have a great day. Or sometimes it's a stopgap repair. It's a Band-Aid, and we took care of the immediate problem. But we end up having to tell you about maybe what the larger problem is. But the good news is now you know about it, and we will present you with options for a permanent fix. So we're not talking about this again 6 or 7 months from now.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
For homeowners who are maybe experiencing a potential roofing emergency, are there any steps that they should take themselves even before Master Roofers is able to respond in order to avoid more damage in the short term?
Yeah, I would tell you largely we don't advise people to go on their roofs, and typically if they're having a roof leak, it's because it's raining, snow, etc., which raises the complexity factor pretty significantly. We don't recommend anyone go on the roof unless they're trained in any condition, much less if it's wet or
Yeah.
icy or snowy. So we really don't recommend people go up on the roofs for safety reasons. We don't want someone to get hurt over a repair like that because they're not trained. The best thing that you can do, number one, reach out to a qualified certified roofer. Number two, if it's significant damage, engage your insurance company as soon as possible. Okay, and they'll your homeowner's insurance may play a factor in this. And then three, try to contain the damage as much as you can. So, for instance, if you have leakage coming in through a ceiling, a wall, pick a spot, and you have wood floors there or anything, but especially like wood floors, anything you can do so that water does not then penetrate into the floor, because now you're dealing with a leaky roof, you're dealing with damage to your ceiling. Now your floor may be compromised as well, and you end up having to have repairs to that. So anything you can do to contain that liquid and dry that space while you're waiting for the cavalry to come is always a good thing. And again, if you know it's significant damage, the sooner you engage your insurance company, the better.
Right. So even a small thing like just putting a trash can underneath the leak and having it drip into that or pour into that,
Correct.
And like you said, maybe set up some fans to kind of keep the floor dry or the walls dry or something like that. That's about the least that you can, or maybe the most that you can do, because like you said, you don't want to be up on the roof trying to fix the leak yourself.
No, you don't want to add to the damage by having an injury. That's not going to help
Right.
anyone's situation. Yeah, again, as fast as you can reach to a qualified roofer. Again, if it's a significant damage, you also have to remember, and this is part of what we'll look at when we're there, depending on the nature of the leak. Is there insulation that's getting wet? Are there other things that are getting wet? Because you then have concerns about if you don't handle that properly, could there be mold or something along those lines that causes you further issues? So those are all things that we can and do help with, but it's we really don't want people up on roofs. Let the professionals come and help you. That's what we're here for.
All right. Well, that's really great information, Brett. Thanks again for speaking with me today.
Thanks so much. I appreciate your time.
And for more information about Master Roofers, you can visit the website at masterroofers.com or call 603-623-4973.